Dear readers, thank you for joining me in this tale of heartbreak, resilience, and redemption. Your support and willingness to dive into this story mean the world to me, and I hope it resonates with you as deeply as it does with me. The echoes of their laughter still linger in my mind, their taunts and jeers ringing out as their phones were hoisted high, capturing the scene like spectators at a cruel spectacle. I stood there, the unwitting jester in their midst. She leaned in and kissed her former lover right before my eyes, her lips locked with his in a brazen display, hands entwined, a performance meant to wound. When she finally pulled back, a sly grin curled her lips. Her friend's voice pierced the air, shouting, "He had it coming." I turned and left, not out of weakness, but because my mind was made up. She was no longer part of my future. When we first crossed paths, I saw her as a radiant spark, wild and untamed yet utterly captivating. Her presence commanded every gaze in the room, and she thrived on that attention. She told me she admired my calm, my steadiness, as if I were the anchor to her storm. For years, I clung to the illusion that love could temper her recklessness, that devotion could outweigh her whims. I overlooked the warning signs, her playful flirtations, the lingering glances she shared with others, the dismissive "it's just a joke" that brushed off my concerns. In the quiet of the night, when she'd hold me close and murmur that I alone understood her, it felt like enough. Until it wasn't. The cracks began to show in small moments. Her friends would snicker when I asked her to stop dancing too closely with strangers at parties. She'd roll her eyes, turning to them with a laugh, saying, "He's so possessive, he thinks he owns me." But it wasn't possession I sought, it was respect. Then came the night she shared that video online, her body pressed against unfamiliar men, sweat and drinks illuminating the scene, with bold captions screaming defiance. "This is what you get for trying to cage me." Staring at my phone, I felt something shift. The pain didn't gut me this time. It forged me into something sharper, clearer. At 3 a.m., she staggered through the door, reeking of liquor, her mascara smudged, heels dangling from her hand. She laughed in my face, her words slurring. "Every woman strays. At least I'm honest about it." That was the moment I ceased being her partner. I became her consequence. I grew silent, and that silence unnerved her more than any argument could. While she slept, I meticulously gathered evidence. Her texts with her ex, videos her friends had filmed, every reckless confession she sent in the haze of her nights out. She was unaware that I'd already secured my finances in a separate account, consulted a lawyer, and ensured the house, cars, and accounts she loved to flaunt were solely in my name. I played the part, offering smiles when she mocked me to her friends over speakerphone, listening as she boasted that she could do anything and I'd never leave. But behind the scenes, I was compiling a dossier. Every harsh word, every betrayal, meticulously documented, a trap she'd woven herself. I knew she thrived on being the center of attention, so I decided to give her the grandest stage yet. I suggested a casual brunch, inviting her inner circle. She adored the idea, dressing as if she were stepping onto a runway, calling it her moment to shine. Unbeknownst to her, my lawyer waited in the next room, and a projector stood ready, concealed behind the drapes. The brunch was lively, mimosas poured freely, and her friends filled the air with gossip. She sat at the heart of it all, reveling in her role as the unchallenged queen. I stood, holding my glass, and gave it a gentle tap. "Before we dig in," I said, "let's take a moment to revisit some memories." The projector hummed to life. At first, it showed images of us, smiling together, on vacations celebrating milestones. The room buzzed with warmth, and she glowed with pride. Then the slides changed. There she was kissing her ex at a bar. Another image showed her dancing provocatively with strangers, captions mocking me glowing on the screen. Then her own voice notes played, laughing about how easy it was to belittle me. The room fell deathly quiet. Her friends' faces paled, their smiles vanishing. Her voice echoed through the speakers. "Every woman strays. At least I did it openly." She leaped to her feet, her glass crashing to the floor. "Shut it off," she shrieked. But her friends' phones were already out, this time aimed at her disgrace. I remained composed. I wanted everyone to see the real person behind the laughter. I said calmly. She rushed toward me, hands shaking. "This isn't right." You're distorting everything. I silenced her by sliding a folder across the table, divorce papers spilling out, each page stamped with evidence of her infidelity. She stood frozen, her performance stripped away, her confidence shattered. Her friends murmured, some already distancing themselves, ashamed to be associated with her downfall. She collapsed into a chair, pale and stuttering. You can't do this to me. You can't. I leaned in, my voice a whisper for her alone. I didn't do this. You did. I walked out, just as I had the night she kissed her ex, but this time, I left with everything. House accounts, car keys, all mine. She was left with nothing but her reputation, now in tatters among the very crowd that once adored her. By midday, my phone was flooded with her frantic voice messages, 20 of them, her voice breaking with desperation. Please don't do this. Don't destroy me. I was drunk, I didn't mean it. Don't abandon me like this. I didn't respond. There was no need. She craved a stage and I gave her one. She wanted an audience, and I provided the loudest she'd ever face. When the spotlight turned on her, it consumed her. Some say revenge doesn't mend a broken heart, and perhaps they're right. But justice carries a different weight, a calm finality. I'm no longer angry, no longer wounded. I'm free. Her pleading messages don't stir pity in me. They bring peace. She was right about one thing. Some women may stray, but not every man stays. Some of us walk away, and some of us ensure the day we do is unforgettable. Thank you, dear readers, for walking through this story with me. Your time and empathy make sharing this tale all the more meaningful, and I hope it leaves you with a sense of strength and closure, just as it did for me.